that's what I want to emphasise as well, is trying to get seafarers to come out into the industry and show themselves and show what they do.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Off Course, a podcast where we explore why the maritime industry remains such a mystery to so many of us, despite it playing such an important role in all our lives. In this season of Off Course, we are interviewing some incredible seafarers with a real focus on sustainability and the environment. We have seen that in recent years there's been a real shift in the conversations and actions being taken by governments and the industry to combat climate change. Actions that are having a real effect on the industry as a whole, but also on individual seafarers. Here at Nautilus International, we are campaigning for an environmentally sustainable maritime industry that is fair for all, by fighting for fair pay, work and conditions for all our members and leaving no worker behind. So, without further ado, welcome to Season 4, Episode 2 of our award-winning podcast, Off Course. Whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or whatever platform you're on, you can also watch this season on our YouTube channel. That's at Nautilus Int, Nautilus INT. Don't forget to check us out on social media using the same handle, where we'll be posting clips, sound bites, and shorts from all of our episodes. In today's episode, we'll speak with Amilia Busby about her journey to working at sea, how marine engineers are on the front line of sustainability efforts on board ships, and what her recommendations are for young maritime professionals wanting to break into the industry. Amilia Busby has an HND in marine engineering from the Warsash Maritime School at Solent University, is a Careers at Sea ambassador, and a 2025 Nautilus International Bevis Minter Award winner. Amilia Busby, welcome to the Off Course podcast.
Happy to be here.
And thank you so much for joining us in person here in our lovely new podcast studio at ITF House. How does it look to you?
It looks great. It looks lovely. I was just saying that, weren't I?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we're very proud of our new podcast studio, so welcome. Today, we are really pleased to talk about your experience of working at sea. Amilia, you recently graduated from your cadetship.
Yeah.
What have you been up to since?
It's been a bit of a whirlwind, really. I can't believe I passed my oral exam like 6-7 months ago now, so it's gone by so fast. I've been working on ship. I'm on a 3-week on, 3-week off rotation. Mm-hmm. So while I'm home, I also have been going to networking events, seminars, sea work I went to. I've been to Norway to some conventions. So I've been getting out there in the industry while I'm home as well, and just sort of immersing myself in the maritime industry while I'm home as well as while I'm on board.
Yeah, great. So for those people listening to the podcast, watching the podcast, who might not understand what you mean by 3-week on, 3-week off, can you just explain what that is?
So I'll work a shift of 3 weeks on board where I'm doing daily watchkeeping duties, and then I'll come home for 3 weeks on my leave to just enjoy my free time, see my family, and do whatever I please or wish to do. And then go back for another 3 weeks.
So it's literally living on board your ship, your vessel for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You're working, you're sleeping, all all of that type of stuff.
You get food cooked for you. You've got your own room with a cabin and a washroom. So it's just a home away from home, really.
Mm-hmm. And typically, how many people are on board ship with you?
So on my ship, we're a small 120 metre vessel. So we have only 12 people on board, consisting of 3 engineers in my group, and captain and a few other people on deck, and ABs.
Mm-hmm. ABs, that are the starting off, able seamen?
Yeah, able seamen, on deck, bosun, deck engineer. So we have a few people on there, but it's still only a close-knit 12-person family, really.
Yeah. So a relatively small ship, and it's quite a specialised ship, isn't it? Do you want to explain to us about
it's
that?
a semi-autonomous, it's only about 4 or 5 years old now. It's a semi-autonomous trailing suction hopper dredger. So our unloading system is a new system. It's a grab type with a hopper instead of a bucket wheel, which is a usual dredger type. But we dredge for aggregate, and we go down the Thames and we come out of the Thames and just discharge all of our sand towards Dagenham and Greenhive areas, sort of the Medway end of the Thames. So we never go far. We're always on the south coast. It's great because I'm never too far away from home, so I don't have to travel miles away just to get onto the ship.
Yeah, because you're a London girl, aren't you?
No.
I'll do that one again.
Everyone always thinks it though, don't worry. Yeah,
so
Hastings.
where are you from?
I'm from Hastings.
Hastings.
So south coast as well. So we literally dredge off the edge of where I live. So
nice.
Yeah.
And for somebody who doesn't know what dredging is, you are literally, in a way, you're cleaning up or you're widening the waterway that you're working on?
Oh no, so with dredgers, there are those type of dredgers, and every time I say dredgers, people think that that's the type of dredger I'm on. But what we do is we collect sand and we take it to a yard to be made into concrete and cement for building supplies, to make houses out of, really.
And that's going to be important when we talk about environmental sustainability in a bit, isn't it? Yeah,
because everyone sort of frowns upon the dredging side and concrete industry because it is quite environmentally unfriendly, but we'll get onto that in a bit.
We will.
Yeah.
We will, absolutely. But before we get there, can I ask you, did you always know that you would end up in the maritime industry, or did you come across it?
I actually, when I was younger, always said, I wouldn't want to, be at sea. Not that it was never on my mind to even work at sea. I didn't really know. I was had sea blindness as well. I didn't really know that people worked at sea as much as obviously I would now.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that have sea blindness like that. But I just sort of fell into it. I never even liked going in the sea as a kid, so it's strange for me. But my granddad used to be a submariner, and again, he still didn't have an influence on me to join this industry. It was when I left college, I didn't want to be a waitress, which was on small minimum wage, because I wanted to earn better money and try and just do something for the money-wise of things at the time.
Yeah.
And so I started on construction sites in London, and I was learning a new trade of acoustic engineering, and I also did different trades on a construction site with my brother at the time. And I was just sort of going through different trades, and when I found acoustic engineering, I really enjoyed the, reading drawings, the building side of everything, building different enclosures, because it was a different job every single day. And then I got a bit bored after COVID because it was slowing down and being self-employed isn't great. And my boss just said, look at the Merchant Navy. And I turned around and was like, what's that? Well, I was like, what's that? I didn't even know.
Wow.
Yeah, so I looked into it, and the first thing I saw is sponsored marine engineering cadetship.
Yes.
I'll just go for that one then.
Yes.
Because it says engineering. I'm already doing engineering. We'll just go for that. And I don't have to pay for it. That was the biggest incentive for me, is that I didn't have to pay to go to uni, because I never wanted to have to pay or have student debt like that. So it all just sort of fell into place, and now I'm at sea.
Yeah.
Because I never had any prior mechanical engineering knowledge, so I was kind of just jumping in at first, really.
What an amazing chance conversation that you had with that boss at the time.
Yeah.
Did you, so you did a little bit of research into it. You discovered that you could be sponsored and that you would in effect be, paid or have a bursary to go through the training. Did you have to do any specific training to get you into the cadetship, or had your experience, was that enough?
So I had got good grades at school and college, but they were all based, my options that I chose were based around sport, because I was wanting to do my rugby career at the time, and just focusing on that. But because I did well in maths and science, I was able to go through onto the interview. And then it was funny because on my interview, I thought it was going to be, you know, really intense, but they wanted you to understand what companies they have that are based with that training company, and know that you've learned what different ships,
Right.
what different ships are around, and, you know, ro-ros, ferries, cruises, dredgers. So that's all you really need to know.
So, Amelia, you mentioned before that you were hoping to have a rugby career before joining maritime. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when I was at secondary school, my teacher got me into playing rugby, and I really loved it. And I was doing county and playing at a club, and it's sort of when you're in county, you sort of want to go that next level.
Yeah.
So when I left school, I went to a specialist rugby college in Worthing in West Sussex.
Wow.
And it was one of the only 7 teams in the UK that was part of this certain league. So we would play like Loughborough, Hartbury, some really good rugby colleges and universities. So I did that, and again, like I said, I just focused on sport because it was the easiest course to do alongside your busy rugby schedule, because we used to play, you know, games on a Wednesday, train every other day, and that's on top of your county and your local club rugby. So it was just, my life was just rugby at that point.
Yeah.
And I had already had a knee injury like when I was, I think, 17 or 18, and then I went to Maritime University and I joined a team in Southampton just to tide me over for the time. Lower leagues, but amazing friends I made there. And unfortunately, just before, I got into London Irish for a Premiership Academy that they were doing.
Wow.
And just before being able to, you know, start training with them, ready for that, and playing games, I had, in a town game, done my ACL, and I was back laid up with my knee injury, and then 3 days later straight back to college to do some more exams. But it kind of slowed down rugby for me, and London Irish got put into administration, so that wasn't a thing anymore. And it was really hard for me to get, while being at uni, getting the time to do county rugby, to get back up to that level. So I kind of had to put it on the back burner for a minute. And while I'm home now and I'm working, I've tried to get back into county, but the commitment levels it doesn't work for the league. So I'm enjoying my free on, free off, so I can still play rugby here and there, but it's not really possible to get back up to that high level.
Yeah.
You have to choose one or the other, really.
One or the other, yeah. Hard choice to make, I imagine.
Yeah, really hard for me. I really enjoy rugby.
Yeah, no, I understand. It can be really hard to juggle outside commitments.
And I don't live anywhere
near.
I don't live anywhere near Portsmouth, so you have to travel a lot, and it can get really tiring. And when you're at sea and doing those long hours and stuff, when you come home, sometimes you do just need to chill out, take full chill mode, and not be travelling, because it's not unnecessary travel, but it kind of is. If you need, that's your chill time, you know, you need to chill out because you're going to be back on ship in 3 weeks' time.
Based on your experience to date, what aspects of a career at sea are you most keen to pursue?
So what I want to do in the future is be like a beacon to support seafarers, and that's not even just UK seafarers. At the moment, I support some seafarers from Africa, South Africa, Nigeria, just because they have to do their course. They do their whole 3-year course and they don't get sea time, and then they have to look for sea time themselves.
Right.
And I've had a lot of them contact me trying to find placements and trying to find things like this, and being in groups like Maritime CEO and Worcester, and they can sometimes offer scholarships or placements on shipping companies, so it's good to try and help them out, or mentorships to try and give them the people that can give them the support as well as me, because again, I don't have all the tools, you know, I'm just a seafarer. I can give my my advice and my knowledge as far as it goes. But just being that person that can support them if they need to ask me a question or just have some clarity on a situation, I can tell them what I think.
That's amazing that you're able to do that. You find the time and the energy to be able to give back to other seafarers.
Yeah, and I want them to be confident in being able to not just be a seafarer on ship and go home and, see your family, but how about if you want to meet like-minded people, come to an event and say hello. Like we're going to be talking about sustainability later, but sometimes the only places that you can truly learn about sustainability and what's moving forward in our industry, unless you read the news, is at these conferences, events, because you're hearing it from everyone else's different perspective, people in the industry. So that's why I go, and I also meet people that have helped me with my journey, giving me opportunities to get more out there. So I really do think that's what I want to emphasise as well, is trying to get seafarers to come out into the industry and show themselves and show what they do.
So you're really encouraging seafarers when they have that time off, when they have the ability to join an event at shore, that they should just come along. It might be scary, big and scary for them, but you feel that it's really worthwhile.
Yeah, because most of the time I'm like one of the only seafarers at these.
Really?
There'll be older like master mariners and things, but like junior officers and maybe even cadets. I started these events when I was a cadet. I just got asked by my company, do you want to go to a Worcester event? I then networked and made friends. So then I went to another event and signed up to their newsletter of different events, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
And then from that and just connecting with people, I've got so many people that I can go to for advice and support groups that I can go to.
In terms of your role as an engineer, when new fuels do come on board, either for environmental reasons or otherwise, how do you learn about them? What's that kind of process for you?
Yeah, so I think obviously once it gets a little bit more into being a definite thing, and because it's a shame about the net zero framework not being adopted and being adjourned a little bit. Obviously, if that was to come in and was being adopted by now, there would probably be talks about training being rolled out to many people, and it being a little bit more fast on the ball with all of that. Companies there'd probably be a legislation about companies having to get people trained in these things, because you can't have people running a ship if you don't understand the fuel.
The fuel,
right?
exactly.
So I can imagine that once that all settles down and is adopted, I think training will be pushed, and my company will adopt it, other companies will. Even if you're not using the new fuels, because obviously smaller ships like my ship, we don't have scrubbers, or we're
and scrubbers are a cleaning technology to clean a dirtier fuel.
Yeah, to clean a dirtier fuel. But we just use low sulfur fuel, so it's all ship
So
dependent.
you're already using low sulfur fuel.
Yeah,
so that is a change,
we're using
right?
low sulfur fuel because we don't have scrubbers. So and that's the legislation that came in. So we have to follow these legislations. Training wise, hopefully, I will get the training on it, because I wouldn't feel comfortable using a fuel that I don't know about.
Yes.
And I'm sure they'll bring that in.
Yeah. What about when you're in university? What type of, again, we understand that the regulation hasn't quite caught up, so they don't know type-specific training, but how did they cover sustainability?
So when I was at college, obviously, they have amended the curriculum a little bit. I'm not too sure on everything they've changed, but when I was there, we would do a little bit on alternative fuels. But back then, we're going 3 years now, when I started, it was a bit, you wouldn't go into much detail because no one really knew the information around them. They didn't want to give you fake news or, fake information. So they didn't talk about it too much. But we obviously learned about scrubber systems and low sulfur fuels and the stuff that was becoming
LNG,
more...
liquefied natural gas.
We was learning a little bit about all of those.
Yeah.
So it was coming in. it's probably going to be a little bit more within 5 years, definitely be in the curriculum.
And have you had any opportunity to either work on board any ships that are using LNG as a fuel, or other than low sulfur fuel, have you had any experience of handling other types of fuels on board?
No, unfortunately I haven't, and it's a shame because I wish I got a chance to do that in my cadetship, because it would have given you a little bit of, you know, it would have been in your mind of, oh, what's this? And you would have probably been known a little bit more about it now, especially when I'm probably not going to be going deep sea unless I really needed to. I kind of like where I am at the moment. So I'm probably never going to experience too much, but it's coming more into different ships and newer ships. So I will one day.
There is a potential, isn't
there?
there?
Yeah, there is a potential.
Yeah.
At the moment, obviously, probably not. Same with a scrubber system. I've never worked on a ship with a scrubber system. So there will eventually be a time when I will be working on one, because they're probably going to become more common, because the sulfur percentage will probably come down soon as well.
Yeah. But I imagine low sulfur fuels, which you do have experience of, that would have a different flash point, would it not? So you've had to learn. How does that work?
So we have to, obviously when we get our bunkers, we really have to make sure that it's got all the right numbers, because you can't be going and getting a low sulfur fuel that it might not even be, if you don't read the notice properly, it might not even be low sulfur fuel. So you might be going against regulations. You really do have to make sure you're looking at what you're doing. But usually that would be a chief's responsibility. You will oversee it, and they'll probably go, what do you think is wrong with this, if it was wrong? Or what do you have to look for, you know? So you do have to keep your eyes peeled.
An expensive mistake to make though, right?
Yes, very expensive.
Yeah, not one you want to make more than once, I don't imagine.
No.
So to recap, Amilia and I have talked about how to break into the maritime industry, no matter what your background, and how the industry is moving to cleaner, greener practices. If you're considering a career at sea, why not join Nautilus International? Here you'll find thousands of other maritime professionals, from captains to chief engineers and everything in between. With Nautilus International, no matter where you are, so are we. Your employer, you mentioned earlier that you work for a company that does dredging, and you're dredging up sand materials that's going to be made into concrete. What moves has your employer made to kind of with an eye to sustainability and environmental regulations in terms of that side of their business?
So currently, my company, Heidelberg Materials, they're very much promoting that they use recycled materials, and they are very sustainable. And their purpose is basically sustainability. They're working towards being a net zero carbon company. They've currently just brought out a range of products. It's called Evo Zero or Evo Build products, which is the world's first net zero carbon captured concrete and cement products. So it's really good to see that we're trying to bring down our carbon emissions, because, like I said earlier, dredging is kind of looked at being quite environmentally unfriendly and not good for the environment with emissions. So it's good that we're trying to bring them down as much as we can, because concrete is important in building and home life.
And it's great that your company is so aware of environmental sustainability as well, right?
Yeah.
So even if it hasn't quite translated over to your work on board ship at the minute, then you can feel comfortable that there are steps underway to get there. So Amilia, we've talked a lot about, you know, the changing requirements for engineers and other seafarers on board ships. How do you think that seafarers can be supported through this kind of change within the industry?
I think obviously it all comes down to training. Hopefully we can get this training put into it from cadet base level, so they're coming up with the knowledge and not having to learn it on the spot, because sometimes that can be really intimidating when you're on ship. If your superior knows it really well and you're constantly asking questions. Sometimes they do get irritated by it, you know, but and also just study a little bit of yourself. If you're wanting to come into a career like this, a lot of information is online. Have a little look into it all yourself, and then you'll probably find that all the information that you wanted to know is there. And obviously, I think maybe encourage people to go to the events. Like I said, I went to one in Southampton, Powerhouse Summit, and there was loads of innovations and talk on sustainability and decarbonisation. So if you want to know about some things and some people's advice and views on it, go to these things, and I'm sure you'll find all you want.
Yeah, that's great advice. And also, people who are members of Nautilus International can join our professional and technical network, which will also cover off some of those issues as well. So, yeah, thank you for that. I think final question, Amilia, if you could go back to when you were first looking to join the maritime industry, what top tips would you give to somebody else who wants to take the same path?
Well, when I did it, I just went for it. I just kind of went for it as if I had nothing to lose. You know, if you're not having to pay for it, and it's a new thing, or you don't have a vision in your mind of a career you want to take, just go for it. That's what I did, and I really enjoyed it. If you apply yourself, you can do it. You know, you can get there. And even if you end up realising, oh, this isn't for me, you found an industry where something in that industry may be for you. You know, it's not just seafaring jobs that are out there. There is loads of jobs in the maritime industry to be a part of. So definitely just go for it would be one. And believe in yourself when it comes to it, because where I had no prior mechanical engineering knowledge, I kind of thought I was a bit of an imposter to where I was. A lot of people in my class, they knew engines. You know, I was the only woman in my class. I had one other woman that was an electrical engineer, but she had worked as an electrician before. I did work as an engineer, but not mechanical engineer. So I didn't even know how an engine worked, you know, having to learn all that content. But if you can stick with it and believe that you will be able to get through it, and you can pass your exams, and you can be in that position in the future, you'll get through it. And also just talk to people, get support from people. Maybe if you're on the edge about applying for a cadetship, look out and see that there's people out there that are that are officers now, even cadets now put themselves out there and want to speak about how the cadetship is and their experiences. So if you get in contact with them and just ask questions. I mean, I'm always there to hear and answer questions from people. So, and 9 times out of 10, anyone that's a seafarer would happily answer questions. So definitely just go out and talk to people.
Yeah, it's a really friendly bunch, isn't it?
Yeah, the maritime industry is so friendly, so friendly. I've felt so welcomed in an industry that I never even knew 4 years ago. So definitely get yourself out there.
Yeah, well, that's really great tips. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Amilia Busby, thank you for joining us on
Thank
the
you.
Off Course podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much to our guest, Amilia Busby. It really has been really good fun hearing her views on the maritime industry, how it's evolving, and her experience of it so far. If you would like to hear about our Just Transition campaign, we've got loads of information on our website. That's nautilusint.org, where we have plenty of information on that campaign and many more. Remember to like and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice, and you can always watch us on our YouTube channel. For now, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.